right, the July slump is over. I've got a stacked lineup of new metal albums for you this week. Welcome, metalheads. I'm the host of Heavy Metal Philosophy and writer for Metal Digest, John Barbas. Make sure you stick around to the end of the episode for this week's album art of the week. It's the weekend. That means we got new metal albums to talk about, and I'm bringing you my top 5. But before we do the top 5, there's a couple of news items we got to go through, so let's jump into it. Gojira just played the opening ceremony to the Olympics, and it was magnificent. All right, I got a big list of big major releases to go through before we hit the top 5, so let's do that. There's a new record from Schwarzer Ingo called Höhere Gewalt. This is symphonic gothic metal out of Germany, lots of industrial, and by the way, how come this record's on Metal Archives but Rammstein isn't? Speaking of Germany, there's a new record from Powerwolf, Wake Up the Wicked. And speaking of power metal, there's a new record from Dream Evil called Metal Gods. And speaking of metal bands that I don't like, there's a new record from Ghost. It's a live album / movie soundtrack called Right Here, Right Now. And speaking of stuff that sounds old school, there's a new record from Verney called Dreadful Company. That's Dee Dee Verney from Overkill fame. And this is a punk rock record, really upbeat. And speaking of Overkill and thrash metal legends, the supergroup Category 7 makes their debut with their self-titled album. I'm talking Exodus, Overkill, Machine Head, Anthrax, all-stars from all of those guys coming together to create this heavy metal. And we're about to do the top 5. I just want to say, in between number 2 and number 1 is normally where I try to hawk my own wares, but this week is going to be a little bit different. I got a care package from Raining Phoenix Music, and I can't wait to show it to you. Coming in at number 5, Mountaineer Dawn and all that follows, post-metal / sludge metal out of California. Got my hands on this one early. Y'all know what that means. My written reviews already published in Metal Digest. Links in the description to all my writings. And what I wrote about this one is it's like you're in a dream. One of those dreams where you're flying. And you're flying over these beautiful green biomes, and it's serene, peaceful. And then suddenly you're sucked into a vortex, shot into space. You're flying through the void, and now you're feeling, instead of peace and serenity, anxiety, because you don't know if you're gonna die. You don't know where you're going. You don't even know how this is possible. And then you're on an alien planet, and it's beautiful again. That's what it feels like to listen to this record. It's got all of this atmospheric dreaminess to it, and then they hit you with the heavy, but it's tense heaviness. Yeah, you want to check this one out. Coming in at number 4, Worm Witch with their self-titled record, obviously Worm Witch, black metal out of Canada. And I love this one because it's got subtle crust punk influences in it, and also the way it's arranged is real clever. There's parts where the rhythm section does their own thing. They don't just follow along the root note of the tremolo picking, and the guitar solo on God Magan is so good. You won't hear guitar solos like that in black metal very often. I'd love to hear more guitar solos, more than just this one song, please. Give me quality guitar solos like that, and I will be a huge fan. Regardless, I'm still a pretty big fan, and that's why it's number 4. Coming in at number 3, Cold Cell with Age of Unreason, black metal out of Switzerland. I love this one because it's atmospheric without doing all the tricks that black metal bands normally do to be atmospheric. It doesn't rely on synths and orchestral bits. They are atmospheric as a band with all these eerie choices melodically, and also the tempo. Great, powerful vocals here. Epic without being one of those epic black metal bands that kind of go a little bit over the top. It sits in that nice sweet spot where it's still heavy. Coming in at number 2, Summoning the Lick, Under the Reviled Throne, Deathcore out of Missouri. And you could also probably call this tech death because of the powerful virtuosity of the players in this band. It's so fast. There's so many things going on. And then I love the vocals on this. If you like Cognitive, and you know I love Cognitive, then you'll like this band too. It's got that wide range where you got the roars and then also the fry screams too. So he's able to dynamically change the energy. Oh yeah, Summoning the Lich is awesome. And hey, before we do number one, I just want to show you a little something. I got a surprise package in the mail from the record company Reigning Phoenix Music. That's the record company of Orden, Ogan, the power metal band. I thought I might get like an album or something, but what they got me instead, I was not expecting. I can't wait to show it to you. They didn't pay me to show you this. I just think it's something that's pretty cool. So check this out and then we'll do number one. All right, let's see what we got here. Reigning Phoenix Music. What'd y'all send me? This is a big box. Oh, what? It's a box set. 35. Okay, hold on. Orden, Ogan, The Order of Fear. Y'all might remember that came out a few weeks ago. Digipack, 35 character cards, game board, Alistair Vale figurine, a pencil, a notepad, and game instructions. What? My man looking dapper. That's the characters. CD with the album. Man, this is wild. Flinging it all over the place. So you can take notes. Oh, and that's how you play. All right, who wants to play a game? Well, that's awesome. Thank you very much, Reigning Phoenix Music and Orden Ogan. This is the Order of Fear box set with included RPG. Outstanding. Check that out. I'm sure you can get it at the link in the description. Coming in at number one, Laceration. Aya Road death metal out of California. I love this one because it's got thrash metal energy. It has that death metal stank face inducing groove, and right when you think it can't get any heavier, they pitch a change up on you like a thrash metal band. Different riff, different drum groove, different melody, and it just turns you around again for another round of headbanging. This one crushes, y'all. Absolutely have to get Laceration, and as excited as I am about that, we're not even done yet because we still got Dealer's Choice and the album art of the week. I'm using Dealer's Choice this week to talk about an EP because this show is about albums, not EPs, but this EP really stood out to me. Absorb with Smog, Death Doom out of Canada. You know, there's a handful of Death Doom bands that I really love, but typically Death Doom isn't my thing. I don't like it so slow, but even though this one has low BPM, it's so heavy because it's not dragging. The guitars have this sludginess to them, and more importantly, the vocals are ferocious. Yeah, there's low BPM in the music, but the vocals are really pissed off. It doesn't have that low rumble that a lot of Death Doom has. It's more shouty. It's got almost a little bit of hardcore in it. This band has put out 2 EPs in a row. I feel like maybe y'all should give me a full length now, huh? Now let's do the album art of the week. My favorite album art this week comes from Tenja Kelakar Kapaltura. Definitely mispronounced that. Text on screen as always, and every band's Bandcamp links will be in the description so it's easy to find. Though I warn you, you may not want to find this one. Normally for the album art of the week, I like the art, and I also like the music. I absolutely hate this music. It's terrible. I do not recommend. It's gore grind, but it's got this weird quality to it. It sounds like all the instruments are MIDI, including the guitars, including the vocals. It's like if you were playing a video game from the 32-bit era and you walked into a nightclub and there was a gore grind band on the stage. That's kind of what it sounds like to my ears. It's strange. Like this artwork that I absolutely love with the tree of life, maybe with all these different faces on it and the sinister mouth. It's almost like Batman who laughs. This thing gives me the creeps. I looked at the album art this week from all the records that dropped, and this is the one that stood out the most to me. This is the one that I went, whoa, what is that? Unfortunately, I listened to it, but I absolutely enjoyed this artwork. Wow, look at that. And also, wow, listen to that. I know I've made you curious now, haven't I? And speaking of curiosity, y'all, check out what I did last week on the podcast. Just click right here. But most importantly, read philosophy, listen to metal. I love you.